In continuation from part 2, the air in the Obsidian Keep was always warm. It wasn't the comforting heat of a summer breeze or a glowing hearth. It was alive, a constant pulse, like a great beast sleeping beneath the stone. Seraphina had lived here for weeks now. She had learned the rhythm of the fortress, the way the torches never needed lighting, the way the air hummed when Kael walked past, as if the fire itself answered to him. But there was still one thing she did not understand. Kael Draven. He was a man of few words, always watching, always guarding something unseen. He avoided her when he could, and when he couldn't, his words were clipped, his presence like a wall of stone. But something had changed since that night on the balcony. He no longer ignored her, and sometimes, when he thought she wasn't looking, she caught him watching her. One evening, she found him in the great hall. He stood alone by the fire, his hand hovering just above the flames. The light flickered against his face, casting shadows along the sharp lines of his jaw. He did not turn when she entered. "You should be asleep," he said. Seraphina stepped closer. "So should you," he sighed but didn't argue. She watched the way the flames moved toward him, as if drawn to his presence. "Does it hurt?" she asked. Kael glanced at her. His golden eyes flickered, the way embers do before they catch flame. "The fire?" He looked back at the hearth. "No, it has never hurt me." Seraphina hesitated. "Then why do you fear it?" His hands curled into fists. "The fire is not a gift, Seraphina," he said. "It is a cage. It is a blade held to my throat." She swallowed. "What happened to you?" she whispered. For a long time, he said nothing. Then, without looking at her, he spoke. "When I was a boy, I nearly burned this kingdom to the ground." Kael told her everything. He was not born with this power. It was given to him, forced upon him. The king had sought a weapon, something stronger than steel, deadlier than any army. So he made Kael the Firekeeper. He did not ask for it. He did not want it. And when the fire inside him became too strong, the king locked him away in the Obsidian Keep. "A Firekeeper who cannot be controlled is dangerous," Kael murmured. "So he made me his prisoner." Seraphina's breath was slow, steady. "Why did he let me come here?" she asked. Kael's jaw tightened. "Because he thinks you will tame me." Seraphina's heart pounded. "And will I?" Kael finally turned to her. His gaze was not cruel, not angry, but something else, something unreadable. "You are not afraid of me," he said. "That is dangerous." Seraphina did not look away. "Maybe you should stop trying to scare me then." For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then, to her surprise, Kael smiled. Just a little, just enough for her to see the man beneath the fire. The next day, a message arrived. A royal seal, a summons. Kael broke the wax, reading the letter in silence. When he finished, he set it down carefully, too carefully. Seraphina's stomach twisted. "What is it?" Kael's voice was cold. "The king is coming." To be continued. Watch out for part 4.